oh my God, it's just a total nightmare. I have to download software. Is this really not working right now? Am I talking to myself? I don't think I'm live right now. And now we're apparently live. Excellent. Wow. The stuff that you go through to do this live show. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. My name is Todd Standing. I'm the man that takes people out into the field and has them either live interact with or eyewitness a Sasquatch. I've done it dozens and dozens of times, and I will continue to do so. First, I'd like to tell everybody thank you so much for tuning into the show. I work so hard to put this show together and I'm so devoted to doing this show because you guys, Amanda, thank you so much. Amanda, it's like 2 in the morning in England, and that crazy woman is up just devoted to making sure everything goes good. And be easy on people today, Amanda. I'm not afraid of the haters, and I'd like some hard questions today. This is probably, well, one of the top reasons I do this show is just the tough questions. Not only am I not afraid of the hard questions, I want them. I'm looking for I'm looking for a nice little sparring session where you guys can just pound me with some hard stuff. I just love that stuff. I have some questions for Facebook, but I gotta talk first. So I've been there's a photographer that I'm gonna go out on an expedition with. She's a local girl, and man, she pushed me just meeting with her. She took some nice photographs. I'm going to put up on Instagram. She's clearly very talented. But I'm going to talk to you guys about this today because I've been having a lot of trouble with this. You guys that watch the show regularly, a big issue that I've had, and she questioned me about this, was, you know, about how I reach for the camera, my intent changes, and it ticked the Sasquatch off. If you guys don't know about that, just simply put, one of the greatest encounters I ever had with the Sasquatch. As the Sasquatch was coming towards me, I lost the moment of enjoyment and reached for a camera, and he felt my intent, and then it ruined everything. And I'm trying to figure out how I can change that intent. And the way I'm going to work on that, the how of how I'm going to change that intent, is I'm going to think about how exciting it is to get the camera. Just like, because when I see a Sasquatch, when a Sasquatch is around me, I feel so excited. It's so amazing. I mean, it's terrifying and thrilling all at the same time. I mean, it's terrifying, guys. If you can imagine like going into a zoo where the gorillas are and having giant gorilla-like creatures around you, I don't know, it would be, if I was doing that in Africa, it would be exciting and terrifying at the same time. I mean, the gorilla can tear you apart limb from limb. But obviously, when you're with people that, and the other thing too is, when you're with people that have experience with gorillas, like when you're out with people that, there's all these shark tours now that I'm seeing that are amazing. You're out with a shark expert, you rely on them and their expertise to keep you safe. When I'm out doing Bigfoot, it's me. I'm guiding the expedition, I'm leading people, or when it's just me alone and there's a Sasquatch there, it's all on me. It's the discovery process. But my intent when I reached for a camera it was very, first of all, I was sneaking it, which can't be sneaky. That's bad intent. They're going to pick that up. And if you guys don't understand this, for God's sake, just a simple example, sneak up on a cow. You have a dog, walk in the room and say hi to your dog. Dog doesn't do anything. Come into the room, even you love your dog. Come into the room and peek your head around the corner. The dog knows it's you. The dog's not stupid, but the dog will growl and bite and snap and get yancy. So cows are like that. I can walk up on a cow doesn't care. And cows are totally domesticated, very, very bad instinct. But if I get down on all knees and I start crawling in, the cow loses it. So my point is, you have to have that, whatever's gotten you that encounter that you're having, you have to maintain that. You can't switch your intent because you're going to screw it up. That's what happened to me, and I don't want to do that again. So what I'm going to do is, thank you, Magdalena, is when I see a Sasquatch, I'm very excited that it's happening, and I'm going to say this camera just adds to the excitement. I'm very excited about getting this camera. And it's not going to be easy because I don't know, I can't lie internally to myself. You can't lie about your intent. Then you're becoming deceitful. So I'm going to find a way, and this is the way that I'm going to go down. And this is very preliminary stuff because I just started getting this into my head in the last 3 days. I'm gonna imagine the camera as just more excitement. This will increase the exciting moment. This will, Not that I'm going to show the world, not that this is me being sneaky, that I'm going to get a shot of you and I shouldn't be doing that. I'm not going to do that because I'm very proud of the footage I have. I'll tell you, when I have a tough time, and I have tough times, guys, it's hard. You know, I'll go a long time without getting near a Sasquatch, or footage takes years. It's really, really, really hard, and it's very frustrating. And when I go back and look at the footage that I've got in the past, I'm just elated. I'm like, that is awesome that I was able to accomplish that. It just picks me right up looking at my old footage when I'm having a tough time. It just, and to anybody out there who's spent decades potentially looking for Sasquatch, go look at that footage, guys. We're cut from the same cloth. If you're out there doing the best you can, look at my footage, look at the Patterson footage. Let it inspire you, because you can do it. Roger, Bob Gimlin and Roger Patterson filmed a Sasquatch, and they were trying to do that, and that was their intent, and they did it. I know the Patterson footage is real, and use that. If they can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. So use it. I'm nothing special. Bob Gimlin's a freaking hero. I met Bob Gimlin. He is very special. I'm not gonna lie. He's a wonderful, honest, special man. But if you just want to be your own superhero and you just want to be a good, honest person, go be a Bob Gimlin. Because Bob Gimlin will tell you you could do it. Bob Gimlin met me, saw my footage. Bob Gimlin says it's real because he knows, because he saw a Sasquatch. And maybe someday you can show Sasquatch footage that you recorded to Bob Gimlin, and because he's just a wonderful hero. And I just, we're so lucky that we have people like Jeff Meldrum, Les Stroud, the great John Bennernagel, and Bob Gimlin. These are great men. I've met them. I've not Bob Gimlin, but just Bob Gimlin has something so special about him. And we did go through a situation where he showed his true color, and it was brilliant. It was shining. The guy is a superstar. He's just amazing. But I've been out in the field with Jeff Meldrum. I've done dozens of radio shows with Jeff Meldrum. I've been out in the field with Les Stroud. What, 4, 5, 10? I know him very well. We've done things personally. We've worked on other projects together, and then we did our footage together. Les Stroud is a hero. He's a great man. He's making wonderful things happen in this world. It's been such an honor and privilege for me to have worked with him, and I can't say enough good things about Jeff Meldrum. Anybody who cares about the discovery of Sasquatch, the man's a hero. He's just a hero. He is honest and good. He's a Boy Scout leader. He's a PhD. He's a brilliant, hardworking, genius man, and we're so lucky to have him. So anyways, I'll do some questions from Facebook here too, real quickly, because there were some good ones today. Do Bigfoot travel to hunt? Yes, they will have to. They're not gonna. I think deer and elk are afraid of Sasquatch. If they pick up a Sasquatch's scent, I know bears and mountain lions stay away from Sasquatch. So deer and elk are going to be afraid. So Sasquatch have like hunting grounds, and absolutely, absolutely yes, they have deer. They have elk herds. They move around, and they probably do the same thing with deer. I've only seen that with the elk herds definitively. The elk are like their cows, so I don't even know if it's really hunting. It's just like a farmer doesn't hunt his cows, does he? And I really, honestly, guys, I feel like it's the Sasquatch are like that. The bighorn sheep, they're just gonna know them, and I don't even know if it's hunting. They could just go get one. They just go harvest one when they see fit. They're not. This is not like wolves and mountain lions and bears, or even hunters. When you live out there and you're as advanced as a Sasquatch is, I don't even think like hunting is just nothing. They just go get it. So. Do they have hunters in the group? I don't know. I would think yes, but I think that just Sasquatch are going to do what they love, and when they want to go have some fun and go hunting, they just go do it as a collective, right? Are there going to be males more or females less, or all those questions? I don't know. What I've seen the females. Well, just as an example, the day that Jeff Meldrum saw Sasquatch, which is in my movie Discovering Bigfoot, the males came up and were interacting with us, and the female went and gathered the apples. So maybe that'll tell you something, right? It's one of the definitive times where I really had that evidence. I really had that proof. It really was clearly the female track went and gathered the apples while the males came and interacted, and that's what Jeff Meldrum saw, was one of the very, very brave males that walked right out into the open area, right in front of Jeff Meldrum. That was incredibly brave. But again, remember though, he wasn't just doing it shalala. He was crossing over in front because he was joining the other Sasquatch, the female, and the other two males that were there. He went across to get back to them. And I think it was a little bit of a test. Sure. Sure, it was. Everything's a test. But he's also, I think it was more just, look how brave I am. Look how I'm just not afraid of you. And I think it was mostly that. He's very confident, and he should have been, because I'd spent a lot of time around those Sasquatch. I showed them many, many times. I don't draw my gun on them. I'm not there to verse them. I'm not there to compete with them. I'm there as a student, and they're my teachers. And I think that really showed that in the Sasquatch walking across like that. And it also showed that Jeff Meldrum, they'd been watching him for the whole time he'd been there. He'd been there for over 3 days. And they just, how could you not like that guy? He just walks around gently. He has a wonderful laugh. He's just such a wonderful man. And his energy just shines through. If you ever met Jeff Meldrum, you know, just an absolute gentleman. So another question was about size differences. Well, I've seen it in the tracks. The Alaskan Sasquatch are much bigger than California Bigfoot. So, and even the California Bigfoot that I was around, they seemed heavier but smaller. So maybe because they have better abundance with more food, which I don't know why that would be, but and I actually can't say that either. Maybe it was just the terrain that was fooling me, so I take that back. I don't know if they were heavier. There was one male that was limping, that was kind of, maybe he was a little chubby, probably because he had an injury to his leg and he can't run and get the exercise, so he got chubby. But yeah, definite size difference. 17.5-inch tracks for my guys up in Canada, and then only a 16 and 3/4 inch track in the United States, and then in Alaska, up to 18-inch tracks. So it's those are the numbers that I'm pushing. So, and that makes sense because bears get bigger as you go north. The biggest bears are the Kodiaks and the polar bears, and they're north up in Alaska, or even in northern Canada, right? And then black bears will get smaller. Even though you have black bears all the way up into Alaska and all the way down into Texas, the black bears are smaller in Texas, and the deer are smaller. So the colder it gets, the bigger the species gets, just for obvious reasons, to keep that heat in, and also to survive the longer winters. Very, very imperative stuff. Bigfoot IQ. on this particular question, he actually said specifically, a Bigfoot researcher said they were as smart as a crow. Nope. They're brilliant. They're genius. They're smarter than me. So I guarantee you they'd smoke me in an IQ test, and they're my teachers, guys. And highly, highly intelligent, always adapting, always maneuvering, 4 steps ahead of me at all times. I just can't say enough about the amazing intellectual abilities I've seen in this species. So, but it's beyond that too. It's a spiritual connection to the land. It's highly adapted sensory perceptions that are infinitely superior to mine. Not unlike deer or elk or bears. They have much better sensory perceptions, but I don't know, when it comes to spirituality and animals, I mean, I'm not even going to debate that topic, but I will tell you that the Sasquatch are shamans. They were shamans and teachers to the Native Americans and First Nations people of North America. And they were the closest hominid species, human species, let's say. They were the closest to ever living in perfect equilibrium. We have never done that. We're more like a virus. We don't have equilibrium like the natives did. And that just shows their connectivity to the land and to the earth was superior to ours. I'm not going to make any bones about it. It's superior. We live like a virus. We consume and just take and take and take and suck and don't worry about the future. And the way that the native people lived, clearly that was just sustainable for forever, so very, very sustainable, and we're not that way. So and then this is something that I talked about John Bitternagel. A Bigfoot, this person said muzzle or snout, so it's like that sticking out piece. Almost gorillas have that bit of a muzzle and a snout like a dog, and I just John Bitternagel had that. I believe that was his one of his pictures in John Bitternagel's book, The Discovery of Sasquatch. He definitely had some pictures of the muzzle or snout in a Sasquatch, and it's not in the Patterson footage, and it's not in any of the authentic Sasquatch encounters I've heard. and it's certainly not in any of my footage or videos. So you can see here, can you see this? Oh no, it's all shiny, looks like crap. I'm gonna get you that, there it is. See that female? The way she has a bit of a snout there? So that's from John Binnernagel's book, The Discovery of Sasquatch. What an amazing man he was. How great was he? So, and we got to be careful about, I don't like, this is one of the reasons I don't like trying to identify tracks based on photographs, because a lot of tracks I can identify as fakes like this. This would be so fake. I would, if I saw that in real life, it wouldn't fool me for 2 seconds. There's no, just the wooden cast, it wouldn't fool a tracker at all. Pathetic, but I'm concerned about people tricking me to do with track photographs, so I try not to do it. And here he is. Oh, there he is, John Bernagel, the great man himself. Whew! I have so much love for that man and respect and appreciation, and I miss him a great deal. So, yeah, but anyways, John talked about the muzzle quite a bit, and there's even a famous Sasquatch, the Adrian Erickson Sasquatch that he had done. He had a big brass one done, and that's got the chimpanzee kind of muzzle. And it's just, I've never seen it. Oh, there's another one. Well, even you can look at the, so the gorilla has that muzzle. This is from John's book as well. And it's not man-like. And I've never met a native person who told me about, well, actually, this is interesting, isn't it? So those are, what is that? Those are the artifacts. The portrait mask obtained from Aboriginal people of the Nass Valley of British Columbia. And look at that. Wow, who am I to question them? That's a game changer, isn't it? Because if the native people made that, there's a muzzle on that. A little bit of a muzzle. But the nose is, I guess, the biggest kicker. That's the end all of it. That I'd give some credence to this one being okay, because the nose is a nose. It's not indented like this. So I'm sorry about the lighting. See how those are, and I'm gonna move backwards. See how these are like a nose hole that's indented, like a gorilla's has that in the indentation of a nose in a gorilla's face. Where if he was in water, there's that gorilla nose. A gorilla or a chimpanzee, if they were in water, the water would go in the nose. It's almost, they called it the aquatic ape theory. We have mammalian diving reflexes, but the number one thing is that nose is highly advantageous for swimming. You must understand that, right? A gorilla is going to get water all up his nose, or in his nose. He has no way to stop it. Can you imagine how bad that would be? Like if your nose was pointed up where the water would sit in there, it would go right into your nasal cavity. It'd be nasty. So highly, highly advantageous for us and the Sasquatch to have noses like we do that extend like this and a flat face. And as you can see from my footage, I mean, Jake and Jane, those, and even Kubota clearly, doesn't Kubota clearly have a nose? Where's a picture of Kubota? So, oh, he clearly has a nose. Clearly, vividly has a nose right there. So let's get to the questions online. Hello, Lawrence. Hello, Washingtons of Money. Hello, greetings from Florida. I'm so excited. I'm pretty sure I'm going to Florida. Man, that southern United States, boy. I've just fallen in love with that place so much. Being down in Alabama, just the terrain and all the stuff going on, the people that I've had the honor and privilege of meeting with. They're wonderful people down there, and I just had so much fun. Todd, you're live. Go Todd. Go Sasquatch. Thank you, John. Stone Mason. I've seen a couple of Bigfoot lurking. So the Stone Mason and anybody else here who's had photographs or you have stuff you want to tell us about, it's bigfootencounter@gmail.com. Please, if you've seen Bigfoot lurking around, awesome. Let's talk to us about it. Go to the chat room after and talk to Amanda and Phil about that too. Have you heard of a sighting near Chicago? Michigan, yes, and up around the Great Lakes. So absolutely yes. I was actually going to do some stuff in Chicago. Oh, and in fact, I was going to go see and somebody else that I really liked. So yeah, There's sightings all over the place, guys. Obviously not in the city of Chicago, but around the outskirts. Even it was definitively west of Chicago. I've heard of something. Somebody says, "Is she sexy?" I don't know who she is. Steven says, "I emailed some of my encounters. Have you heard of them? If so, what do you think?" You'd have to talk to Amanda about that. And I get so this is a hard time for me to do stuff to read stuff right now, guys. I'm really working hard on my expeditions, and they're enormously time consuming. And the whole COVID thing, I'm actually on quarantine right now because I just came back from Alabama about 10 days ago and I have to do a 14-day quarantine, but I'm doing it. So cool. Uh, Todd, are you a little annoyed about bringing this to light? Annoyed? I think what you mean is paranoid. No. Paranoid about the government? No. The government's going to do what they're going to do. I'm moving forward. Um, you know, there's been stuff that's happened to me. Obviously, there are really crazy, weird things that's happening. Whatever. I move forward. They'll do what they're going to do, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. For the most part, I feel. How do I put this? Well, I don't want to. I never want to take something that's paranormal, which Sasquatch is, and turn a conspiracy into it. But the resistance I've had is nothing I can't manage and deal with, and we just keep moving forward, right? So there's stuff going on out there, guys. Even just the internet stuff. There's stuff like I could be on the New York Times and hundreds of thousands of people watch it and check and click the article, and it'll be above some stupid article from the Mercury cruiser, some dumbass woman that didn't even watch my movie saying stupid things that don't make any sense. And it's totally ridiculous that that's high up on the search engines. So there's so many things to do with Google and search engines and stuff that's been pretty obvious. Internet guys have told me like, they're hiding you, they're blocking you, they're they're doing stuff. Whatever. I keep moving forward. I have all my fans here. Look, we got hundreds of people online right now, and that's fantastic. So I just saw a really good question. Todd, how can you tell female versus male Sasquatch? Excellent question. Uh, the females are smaller and slimmer, and they have breasts. That's pretty obvious, and they have less harsh features, like less facial hair when they're younger for sure. They just look a little softer. They look a little less harsh. And but the number one thing is through the track evidence. It's very obvious to me when I'm dealing with a family group. I'll see some tracks, especially initially when there's a family. It's got to be a family, guys. If you're just, but no, you can do. Okay, for me, it's always a family. It's always a family unit that I'm out there studying. Always, always, always. I've never been able to find a spot where there was one lone Sasquatch around. And if you can find that, great. But the great thing about having that family unit around is if I see a 12-inch track and it's heavier and wider, and I find even let's say an 11-inch track, but it's much slimmer and much lighter, female. So I see a 15-inch track like the Patterson track. That's as big as that a female Sasquatch gets. So, if you see a 16-inch track, and the other thing too is the width and the weight, guys. You can just see that in the ground. And females move gentler. Females will go around a puddle. Males will trash right through it. So in general, but there's no denying in the tracks. I remember Survivor Man talking about it on an episode on Survivor Man Bigfoot, where he was. I was at the point in those days where I was not publicly talking about, but I had decided upon accepting the fact that females are slimmer and lighter in their footprints, in their tracks. So I talked less about that, but I didn't go public yet because I wanted some more time. And that was 2013. By 2014, I was really ready to say, boom, it's absolutely conclusive, because I'd seen a female Sasquatch and I saw her smaller, slimmer tracks. And that happened to me 4 times where I saw a female Sasquatch and I saw her tracks and they were slimmer, and she moved. The movement is advanced stuff. So, but yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that answers your question. I think that's a really good question. I keep moving the wrong way here, but the signal's good. I'm so happy. I am home now, guys. That's why the signal's so good. I appreciate your patience with the other shows, and my God, you guys, I got to stop for a second and tell you, like life just beats me up sometimes, and I get my ass kicked really badly. So I got to tell you guys motivate me, and I just want to say, you guys are very grateful that I come and do the show. I'm grateful for you guys to inspire me to come and do this show, to stop procrastinating sometimes. I'm a human being. I have hard days like everybody else. And, with the COVID and some personal issues that I've been having lots of lately, it's been, sometimes it's hard to get motivated. And I'll tell you, I always am motivated to have you guys do your questions and do this show. And I'm so grateful that I have you guys. It doesn't even feel, it just feels fun to come and do this show. It really is. It's just fun. I'm motivated to come out here because you guys just ask awesome questions and you're so fun. And it's like sparring. I was into martial arts a lot, and I really used to, sparring was my favorite thing. I used to really enjoy testing and grinding like that. Even in jiu-jitsu, we call it rolling with each other. I'd love rolling with people and practicing and that sort of stuff. And this to me is like the skills and everything that I've learned. I get to come and spar with you guys, and I absolutely love it. The government's busy burning cities, says Stone Mason. Rob Ewing says, hello, Todd. Haven't caught you live in a bit. Enjoy listening. Thanks so much. Can we go out for 30 days? Oh my God. Stone Mason says that. This is a real funny story. So when I was trying to work with Ian Redmond, and he was very motivated to come out, and I had the financial ability for that to happen at the time. We were planning, and so I remember talking to him, and so I'm talking to Ian Redmond. He's the top gorilla primatologist in the world. Another guy I can't say enough incredible things about, an absolute hero of mine. Look him up if you don't know who he is. Anyways, so I'm talking to him, and he's going to come on an expedition with me, just him and I alone. And I go, so Ian, can we do 4 days? He goes, 4 days? He goes, I wouldn't even come out for anything less than a week. And I went, would you do 10 days? He went, yeah, I would. 7 days is my minimum. You want to do 10? And I was just like, I was so giddy. Sorry, I can get weird. But it was just so cool to see somebody that was tough. Like, who does that? Survivor Man does that. Most people are like, I want to do 3 days, and I can't get much results in that short of time. It's very frustrating. It's so frustrating to oh my God, to do short expeditions. Even like into an expedition, I'll be 3 or 4 days into it, and if we're not having success, 5 days into it, and I get very nervous, and I feel a lot of pressure to have success, but there's really nothing I can do. You just do the best you can and keep moving forward. But I feel a lot of pressure on these expeditions. The more time I have, even I have expeditions that have been coming out year after year. I love that. I think that's so awesome. My next expedition out, I have a guy who's on his fourth year with me. Is that ever amazing? Well, he came out the first year, and he's been doing it every year since. I guess it's been 4 years in a row I've been doing this. But I have a couple people that are 4 years in a row. But it's awesome to have. So yeah, I love that. Jeffrey Ray says, use a GoPro. Jeffrey, you don't use GoPros, obviously, do you? You don't use GoPros for wildlife. They have the fisheye lens on them. I've filmed a Sasquatch with a GoPro. I wouldn't even put it up. I had a Sasquatch about 40 yards away from me. It was worthless. Totally, completely worthless. You can't even, if he stays in a shadow, if the lighting's not proper, it's worthless. It could be it's nothing acceptable whatsoever. GoPros are, if I understand if you're going down a bike trail, and there's great uses for GoPro filming. If you ever found a wildlife photographer that used a GoPro, you never will, ever. It doesn't happen. You can't do it. So, and if you want to be at a level where you're getting acceptance and people are watching your movies and coming on expeditions with you, GoPros are never going to work. I would need the Sasquatch to be 20 yards away from me and in the right lighting, at the right, even just so many factors, guys. You just don't get it. Like, I walk through the bush and little branches will scratch on it. And I can't see that on the lens unless I'm looking through my phone all the time. And then I got to look at my phone to see how my GoPro is. If it rains or gets moisture, a little piece of sap comes on it. That happened once where I had this really cool grizzly bear encounter. And I was filming on my freaking GoPro, and I was all excited to show people how, like, what a grizzly bear charge looks like and how cool it was. It was such a cool, even I'll tell you guys about it. There was a grizzly bear. This is back in 2010 and 2011. The last years that I saw this bear was huge. He was a monster, but he was so good with me. He just did bluff charges when we got into the same vicinity, and I was very comfortable with his bluff charges. He did them all the time. They were very fake, but anyways, I recorded it because I even wanted to see if I could get that ground shake, because he was a boom, 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 boom. A bluff charge is when they're bounding. They're never pulling the ground like this. They're bounding and their ears are up. So, and if you hold your ground, a bluff charge is a bluff charge. He'll veer off, and you just gotta, if you run, it can turn into a predatory attack. But you really hold your ground. I don't even think it'd be a good idea to step forward. There are times when I step forward during grizzly bear encounters where they'll piss me off, and I want to step forward and show them that I'm not prey and that I am going to fight. But anyways, that was the day that somehow a little piece of tree sap got stuck. And when you're going through the bush, you're doing backcountry, it's crazy, the stuff that you deal with. Crazy. I mean, if you go hiking with me, I just went on an expedition with a guy, and I was supposed to take it real easy on him on day one, and I don't even know. Oh, we're just gonna go down to the creek over here, and it's only 100 yards to the creek, and then we have to bushwhack to get to the creek, and he's getting all cut up and going through thorns, and his legs are all scratched up, and he's really good about it. But just the easiest thing is, it's just never easy out in the wilderness. It's always hard. It's always challenging, and GoPros were overheating, and even in the case, you have that plastic case. Then for no reason at all, when you get moisture in it all the time. Even if there's just some moisture outside and the thing gets some steam on it, I don't know what the hell. Or it gets really hot in there, and then it creates some steam, and then there's 1,000 things that go wrong. GoPros are extremely unprofessional and very, very, I've had tremendous difficulty with them. So I will use them, but just for, my documentary and my own stuff. It's not good for, it's so simple to just have a camera on your chest. I have a Canon SX 50 that I used to film Kubota, that's old. When did I film Kubota? Like 2000, I don't remember what year it was, but anyways, it was a long time ago, and that camera was pretty new then, but I use that, and it works really well. So, hey Phil, welcome. John says, Todd, do Sasquatches shed their hair? No, because they have hair, not fur. If so, would a clump of hairballs out in the trail make a firm statement? No, I've had hair before, John. It's frustrating. I had a hair analyzed as an unknown primate species. Didn't even make a, excuse me, don't have any water to drink. It didn't even make, it was a headline for a week, and then just people didn't care after that. But I suppose they could have hairballs. The hair could get, they just have hair like us, though. You must understand, human beings, orangutans, gorillas, and chimpanzees, we do not have fur, we have hair. And hair is hair. The way hair gets wet, we don't have, fur is layered, and it's very efficient to keep the cold out. You have an exterior and an interior layer of fur, and then you shed it. Hair grows. So it's very, very different. So Ray says, did you take that elk photo behind you? Did you take that elk photo behind you? Oh, I have an elk photo behind me. I think I know what you're talking about. I have a painting. Do I have a photograph? Where's an elk photograph? This is, that's a Sasquatch. That's the Jeff Meldrum Sasquatch Handbook. That's a poster of mine. So, but if you're talking about the poster, oops, it's this shoulder. That poster, there is no elk on it. It's got to go this way. It's that's Jake Video 5 Kubota, and then up a little higher. Can't see because of the shine, but that's Jane's up there. So it's I guess I have 3 headshots of Sasquatch. Boy, I'll tell you guys, if you knew what I went through for this footage and stuff, you'd understand why I'm very proud of the success I've been able to generate. Very, very proud of it. Use a Canon, my trees are not blurry. I agree, I like Canon and I use a Canon. I had an XF100 I really liked, but I wrecked it. Now I use a Sony, but still a good Sony. It's a video camera. Joe Miller says, Todd, forget filming, just spend time gifting, trying to communicate sooner or later. It will get you the chance to help one that you can build trust with. What's in your heart? I agree with you, Joe. I think that's what's going to happen. There'll be other really incredible encounters, and that's probably what's going to happen. I just need to I need to do my own journey. I need to have my own stuff, and it's nice to be private. I'm not really I don't enjoy being a public figure, and I don't enjoy, I don't know, just that whole celebrity stuff it's really not for me. I'm very private, quiet person deep down inside, and I really want to be that person. I want to be really true to myself in the next encounters I have with Sasquatch. So, and it'll probably be in the next couple months. These are the good months for me. September, October are the best months. All my footage, all my success, Jeff Meldrum, Les Stroud, John Bernagel, all the greatest successes I've ever had are in September and October. And it's coming right up. It's August. So, and the expeditions are going to go right on through. So I'm very excited about that. Hello, everyone. Todd, great work. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you, Jesse. Joseph says, Todd, I heard after natural disasters like volcanoes, eruptions, and severe forest fires, government officials come in and take out the dead, injured Sasquatch. Do you think this happens? Do I think that happens? Oof. I had a really cool story in an interview I conducted about, I think it was the Mount St. Helens eruption. Oh my God, it was impressive stuff. But the government, the government doesn't have to do that much work, really, to people just, look, we have DNA. We have DNA. This is DNA. We have DNA. There it is right there. This is Sasquatch DNA. This is the paperwork right there. This is the DNA. Here's all the paperwork. Nobody cares. They recognized the Skywalker gibbon, but they won't recognize Sasquatch with DNA. We have the feet accepted thanks to the hard work and dedication of the great Jeff Meldrum. The feet are accepted as from a living indigenous primate species, but we don't accept the species. So I don't know how, it's not even the government. I don't know how pop culture and science is evading this reality. I don't know how they're pulling it off. It shocks me. So I was just talking to an expeditioner last week, like, what, even saying, Todd, I don't know what else you can do. I take people out and show them a Sasquatch. I gather DNA. I get footage. I will show you a Sasquatch. What do I have to do to make this discovery go to the next level and move forward? I can't imagine how irresponsible it would be to be a primatologist, to be a scientist, and to see me and go, meh. What the hell? What do you mean, meh? I have DNA. I have references. You can call Dr. Jeff Meldrum. You can call the great Les Stroud. Call him on the phone. There are other PhDs I have, actually, that you can call now. I have a couple. You can call them and they'll go, if you saw like Jeff Meldrum, if you saw the documentary, I believe he showed me a Sasquatch. Do you think his work is authentic? Yes. Go, but don't take my word for it. Go out in the field. The man will keep you safe. The man is a wilderness expert. I am. I do that. I've taken out over 100 people. Everybody comes back perfectly safe. 0 injuries. So you're going to be safe. I refer him to that. And then I'll show you a Sasquatch. So if you're a primatologist and you just go shmeh, I think you're being tremendously irresponsible, because the most man-like primate species is right out there in the wilderness. And there are universities that are devoted to primate studies, devoted to great ape studies, devoted to hominid studies. And are they coming out? Nope. And it's not government so much as those big institutions. I was at a university who I gave them DNA. They did a full DNA and they just gave me my money back and told me to be on my way. That is tremendously irresponsible. Science is about the truth. And if you're afraid of the truth, stay away from me. The truth is the species exists. Don't take my word for it. Come out and I will show you a Sasquatch. I'm talking even, what about reporters? What's their problem? Do you know every year, like when I did the, just as an example, back when I did when I was doing the trial to prove Sasquatch are real in a court of law, I was all over the media. Every media person that I met with, I started that trial in August. And through August and September, so I was doing expeditions. Every one of those damn people, CNN, BBC, NBC, CBS, all the global news, everybody. Every single time I said, hi, thanks for doing the story. Here's the interview. Do you want to come out and see a Sasquatch? And they go, what do you mean? And I go, I will take you out for free and show you a Sasquatch. That's what I do. I'm taking an expedition. I had an extra expedition spot for one person from the media. Anybody, doesn't matter. The biggest Fox News, I don't care. Let's go get out there. Let's go do it. They all said no, and they all didn't do it. Free, publicly. I don't care how big you are. Let's do it. Hell, even the Aboriginal People's News, they were the closest ones that almost came and did an expedition with me. And even they chumped out of it. And I'm not blaming anybody specifically. You know, I think APTN News, the reporter was super gung-ho. He really wanted to come out. And his chump-ass little brat of an editor is like, yeah, we changed our mind. I'm just going to show him a Sasquatch. No big deal. And even the fact that I saved the best expedition, one spot on the highest probability of success expedition, and nobody has ever, no media has ever come out on an expedition. They want the story. They'll talk to me on the phone. I can send them evidence, and that's good. And I'm trying not to be a total jerk here, but you must understand the media is not, where's the media? How come they're not out there? Isn't that a kind of a story? Hey, meet the man that takes people out and shows them a Sasquatch. I have expeditioners that come back that have seen a Sasquatch. You think the media wants to interview them? They would do an interview. I got dozens of people that have seen a Sasquatch out on an expedition with me. Have they been interviewed? Nope. So, and funny, they'll see a Sasquatch that looks like that. They go, oh, I saw it. Something looked just like that. Same face, same hair, same beard, same pointy head. I saw that. They didn't see that Sasquatch. Where is he? There he is. Ooh. I love Jim Carrey. Just wait. Ooh. Sorry, picking his nose. Anyway, that's the amazing, incredible Jake. But yeah, Les Stroud touched my grandson. I'm sure he hugged your grandson, or I'm sure he shook his hand. Let's not. Let's go easy with he touched your. I'm sure he shook your grandson, hugged your grandson, and that's wonderful. Les Stroud is a fantastic, incredible, amazing human being. Thanks. That guy was about to get a mouthful. Oh, somebody was on talking negative. That's too bad. Because the one I saw looked kind of human. Oh, Mandalay Ray is saying. So Jeff, do you think they are us? I mean, the beginning of men or women? Oh, and I know what Mandalay is meaning. Oh wait, let's go back up the top here. There's a bunch of. Andy says, do you have a Bigfoot encounter or story that you can share with us? Message at. Oh, okay. Andy's saying if you have a story to. Thank you, Andy. That's awesome. Let's see if I have more questions. Joe Steven, you're awesome. Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for giving it out there. Thanks for getting out there, getting it done. Your work is important. I think it is really important. I even, gosh, you know, I tried to quit Sasquatch. I did quit Sasquatch for a couple of years because I had a really traumatic wilderness experience not involving a Sasquatch at all. And I felt like I had to come back. I felt like I owed it to the knowledge and my teachers and even to the Sasquatch to come back and pursue the truth. I feel like when I walked away for a couple of years, and there was lots of reasons for it. I just had it was just so much. I made that documentary, and I could make it, I could edit it, I could do the audio, I could do the sound, you know, all the work. I did everything, but you can't sell it. You're not allowed to. All the parasites are involved in the distribution, and there is no way to. And I tried to self-distribute. People like their McDonald's. People like buying their food at their franchises, and so I couldn't self-distribute, and it was very frustrating because I knew that I'd won by making that documentary. It was real Sasquatch footage, real men really seeing Sasquatch, Jeff Meldrum, John Bernagel, all that stuff was real. I felt like I just knocked it out of the park. I felt like I won, but then I lost because it wasn't getting any exposure, and Discovery Channel wasn't going to purchase it from me. They told me it was an embarrassment. History Channel looked at it and was like, no, we can't put that on TV. That's embarrassing. You're not a filmmaker. You don't know what you're doing. That's an embarrassing production. And I felt horrible because I thought it was good. I thought it was great. And then a couple years later, Netflix picked it up, Warner Brothers picked it up, and suddenly it's not so embarrassing anymore, is it? In fact, now I got compliments from world famous, incredible filmmakers going, that is a wonderful piece of work. Very well done, very impressive work, and a very cohesive good documentary that and it was just that way because the events that had transpired in my life were very smooth and consistent, and I just documented it all well and put it together, and it made sense because I didn't have to write it. It wrote itself. The Sasquatch just did what they did, and I just did the best I could in the research and moving forward with the discovery, and discovering Bigfoot happened, and I'm so grateful for it. So grateful. Back to school. We're not going to talk about that. Good to see you. Thanks, Chris. What else have I got here? Corey says, why is it that some are very reserved and some more aggressive? Well, Corey, every individual is different. Don't you ever say Sasquatch are aggressive, Sasquatch are angry, Sasquatch are... People are like that. People are gentle and nice and caring. Some people are jerks. Some people, you go on their property, they're going to shoot you. Right? So dogs are different. I have a Rottie. She's the sweetest, gentlest sweetheart. I've seen my Rottie get attacked by little yelping dogs, and they're like biting her and attacking her and tearing the fur off of her chest. And she's just there going, I don't want to hurt this dog. She's not violent. And I love that about her. But some Rotties, that a dog would come attack them, they'd tear that dog apart. So every individual is different. Every horse is a different personality. So don't go, why would we ever be foolish enough to say some Sasquatch are aggressive, some are reserved? Just different individuals, different experiences, different environments, different personalities. So you have to know that. You cannot go into this thinking the Sasquatch are like that, because as soon as you say that, they're not that. Oh, the Sasquatch are like that? No. There's angry Sasquatch. There's Sasquatch that kill people. There's Sasquatch that are violent. Sasquatch that love hunting and tearing things apart. And there are gentle ones that are absolutely, it's the whole gambit. What you need to focus on is, what is this particular individual like? Get to know them. Do not stereotype them. That's preposterous. Don't ever think like that. So learn about the individual. See how they are. They'll tell you. Again, Walter, what is he saying here? Why is it that some are very reserved? Because some are very reserved. Some are very aggressive. Go hang out with the reserved ones. How is it that you know that some are reserved and some are aggressive? Because you know different personality traits in different individuals, right? It's that simple. The ones that are aggressive, I find in general, the big males, the big dominant males are very aggressive, very dominating, and can be very hostile. And I don't want to, if I'm on an expedition and the big male comes around, I want to go home. I'll tell it to the expeditioners, I would like to leave, I think we're unsafe here. And actually, maybe that's not the case, because that happened once and I was very concerned about it. But then, of course, we didn't leave. But anyway, it's just, I prefer not to deal with the big male. I saw a young wolf a few weeks back. That is fantastic. I love wolves. I think they're an amazing apex species. Could they possibly interchange the gathering male, female, and distracting roles? I don't know what you mean, Walter. Hi, Todd. Good to watch your show. Never miss one. That's so awesome. Thank you, Virginia. Do you ever see wolves out there? Absolutely. Tons. In fact, let's talk about wolves. When wolves are around, I have no fear. They're not dangerous. They don't attack people. Don't feed them. They don't attack people. In recorded history, wolves have never harmed people unprovoked. So don't feed them. Keep your distance from them, and you won't have any trouble. What happened to me, probably the scariest thing that ever happened to me with wolves, is we were in Alberta, sitting at the base camp there, and I was with one expeditioner, and the wolves, these are big timber wolves, like they're the big wolves. The whole pack came right down the pathway we were sitting on, and this is like there was a lot of room for them in an open space, and the whole pack came right down, all these wolves, and it was a full moon, and they were in a mood. They were very, very scary. They were howling, and as they approached us, they were dominant. Like, they were not afraid of us whatsoever. So I had my gun, and my expeditioner was like, draw it, because they were so close. The wolves were 5 yards. One wolf approached him, and very sniffing and smelling the ground. He's like, draw your gun! And I wouldn't do it. I won't draw my gun. I knew Wolves aren't going to harm us. They don't harm us. I've been around them. I feel very safe around wolves. Let me put it that way. I feel safe around them. And I have very little fear of them. They can be scary. But anyways, what happened was, it was an Omega wolf, a lower ranking wolf that came close to the expeditioner. And the reason the pack was a little yancy was the alpha was saying that is not appropriate behavior. You do not approach them. And he actually took on that Omega wolf and they fought. So my expeditioner, he spun around because he had his back to the wolves. And these two wolves are just going at each other. If you've ever seen wolves fight, it looks brutal. It's dead silent out there. This is echoing off all the canyons. These wolves are fighting. And this big alpha male takes that wolf and pins him into the ground. And they're struggling and fighting all over the place. And he's got this other wolf down by the throat. It was crazy. And I didn't draw my gun ever. I stood there. I remember putting my hands up going, damn, this is crazy stuff. And then the alpha wolf submitted the Omega wolf. So the dominant wolf that was clearly bigger, clearly stronger, submitted probably the younger, smaller wolf. And the other wolf went right on his side and submitted. And then they became like friends. They started smiling and then they just took off. I'll tell you though, it was freaking scary. So I just try to go through things in my head. It was one of the scariest moments because to see these wolves fighting like that, and the pack, when they're watching this, they're all like pumped. So anyways, they just didn't harm us. They had no interest in us. Obviously the subordinate wolf wasn't listening to the dominant wolf, and he put him in place. Boy, that's what you do. That's how they roll. That's their hierarchy. And they took off. And when I'm dealing with the terrestrial species that I know, I go profoundly on my logic. Profoundly. I know bears are dangerous and they can be quite unpredictable, and I don't dick around with them. And same thing with mountain lions. But wolves, I feel very confident around them. And I say terrestrial because I had an experience where I was on Vancouver Island and some orca came around when I was swimming. Oh my God. I think that's the scariest I've ever been in my life. Orcas are giant. I don't like calling them killer whales because they're not whales and they're not killers. We don't call wolves killer deers. We don't call bears killer marmots. You know what I mean? I don't like that name for them. So I really respect orcas. I think they're a beautiful species. But that being said, they have jaws right huge, and they were breaching, and I was swimming in the water, and I tell you, I was terrified to get out of that water. And when I got on some rocks that were shallow, and I saw the orcas, they were very interested in me, probably because I was panicking. I was terrified. And they came right over to me, and as I got up on the rocks, and they came by, and I saw a big one. This orca was just a monster. And I found out later it was a hunting orca group that were transient whales. So they're more likely they'll kill a moose in the water. They'll kill other whales. So they're the more hunting oriented. The local orcas are salmon eaters mostly, and they're much more peaceful, I think. But anyways, I was in no danger. You know, orcas have never in recorded history harmed anybody, but just something about maybe jaws or in the water, and I was pretty terrified. It was pretty funny. Once I got out of the water, and I tried to let the logic set in, and I'm bringing this up because there are people that are going to do this with Sasquatch. Just all logic's going to go right out of your mind. You're going to blah, and you're going to panic, and it's so hard to get hold of that logic and know what you know and maintain that. Maybe even training and experience and practice. So, because believe me, I understand that I failed that day with the orcas, and I'm going to fix that. I'm going to get back out there. I'm going to go swimming with the orcas. I'm going to get in the water with them. And I'm going to spend a lot of time on Vancouver Island, which is where John Bennernagel lived most of his life. That's where he had his last home before he passed away. And beautiful, abundant, amazing place. Even Nia Bay in Washington, it's right across from Vancouver Island. It's pretty much, it's the same place. I mean, what are they, like 10 miles apart? So I'm going to make sure I get over that paradigm because training is important, guys. Making sure that you have that logic and that serenity when an emergency situation happens, it's so, so important. And is it even training? It's practice. It's getting out there. I've been in the bush. I've been charged by bears. I've had mountain lions around, and I trust in my logic, and I'm very calm, and I deal with those situations extremely well. Even Sasquatch, man, that Adirondack thing where I backed up to us. If you saw that video, you got to see it. I'm not going to lie. When Sasquatch come around, boy, the moment I go, that's a Sasquatch, my demeanor changes. The things I do are not what you do around a bear or a mountain lion. You don't walk backwards towards a bear or a mountain lion. I do that to Sasquatch. I'll walk backwards, put my hands up. I'll talk very nice. Hi. Hi, I know you're there. Thank you. I'll do that. Don't do that with a bear. You'll get killed. Mountain lion, death. But I was 100% confident that that was not only not a bear or a mountain lion, but it was definitively a Sasquatch. And, I'll have to go back to Sadie and Kyle who were there. They'll tell you, like they were very, their responses were so good, but they were very more typical for a first encounter with a Sasquatch. They were concerned. They had some fears about them, but overall, I would have to give them an A+. Just so you know, though, for people who are first time experiencing a Sasquatch, they did very, very well. Most people panic. Most people get really scared, and I don't. That's cool, I've had guys come out and just be terrified, just absolutely tremendously afraid, and but they stay and they don't go home. They don't quit on me. As long as you don't quit on me, as long as you stay out there, that's fantastic. Cheesy Ches says, yes, wolves are everywhere. No, they are not. They're getting wiped out. People shoot them like crazy. It's disgusting how wolves are treated like vermin. Wolves were wiped out in Yellowstone. If you don't know the story, go look it up. Yellowstone wolves. And that's the Yellowstone wolf story is half the story. I could tell you double what they talk about. The wolves, the difference, the wolves saved Yellowstone Park, ladies and gentlemen. If it wasn't for the wolves in Yellowstone Park would be gone. It'd be a swamp. The animals would all be dying. It would be a freaking disaster. It is awful what happens when we don't have wolves. They spend a lot of money reintroducing, and those wolves were Alberta Canadian wolves. I know that trappers who got those wolves. So, I know the area the trappers got those wolves. I never got to speak with those trappers, but there's a damn good reason they reintroduced wolves, and now people are bitching and complaining because, of course, the wolves are coming right out of the Yellowstone Park and they're going up into Colorado and and farmers are bitching and complaining and shooting them because they consider them horrible pests. But what are you going to do? It's human beings are domesticated and very, very ignorant, and I try not to get on that topic. Like the How to Hunt guy, he hates wolves. He wants them all exterminated, and I think that's where we're gonna just not get along at all, because I think wolves are magnificent. They are the frickin' organic species that lives here. How dare you want to shoot them all and exterminate them and treat them like vermin? If you don't like the ecosystem, stay out of the wilderness. I don't like that species. Well, without that species, dumbass, the deer die, the elk die, they kill themselves. The wolves are critical, absolutely essential. When they call it, when biologists call them a keystone species, it means when you pull it out, it all falls down. Critical keystone species. So when I see meatheads talking about killing them all, wiping them all out, and then follow the money. How does that guy make his money? Shooting and hunting elk. Well, the wolves have more rights to the elk, as far as I'm concerned, than you do making money with your outfitting. They're a biological species. You could go away and die, and nothing will happen. Everything will get better if you go away and die. If the wolves go away and die, the ecosystem collapses, falls apart, doesn't work anymore. It's a disaster. They are a critical species. So how dare you talk about killing them and assassinating, treat them like vermin, disrespect them, shoot them and hunt them with hatred, when even, and I'm talking now about like the native connection and the spiritual, people love wolves. The natives adore the wolves, much respect to them. The bigger picture is the problem with elk and deer. Why don't you look at human problems? Why don't you look at the fact that there were 400 million frickin' bison here 250 years ago? What happened to all the bison? Was that the wolves? Ridiculously preposterous stupidity, ignorance that's disgusting to me. I want to spit. So the wolves didn't do it, and the wolves get blamed, and it's people. Trust me. They were talking about how they had the last herds of caribou in these national parks got all wiped out by the wolves. Are you freaking kidding me? Holy crap. the wolves, what the hell? It was completely human error, completely human screw ups, and you can't. The ecology is so fragile, people. The biology is fragile. These idiots that go in there and talk about how they have a plan to remove all the trees, and this is how you the economy of tree removal and deforestation and logging. You people are insane. You don't know about the biology. You don't know about the effects and how it comes all through and the damage that we're doing. You know, to look at it as an economic thing is just retarded and stupid. It just ticks me right off. And anyways, we're not getting into that too much. Part of the reason, though, that Sasquatches think people are insane. We're insane, the stuff that we do, the things that we're just insane. You know, the Sasquatch have no trouble with wolves. The Sasquatch have a wonderful working relationship, living relationship with the wolves. And if you want to hate on the wolves, I suggest you just get out of nature and don't get involved. Do you hate the bears? You know, and the ridiculously preposterous things that people talk about. Bears aren't evil, they just survive. Mountain lions aren't evil. So, you know, they're predators and they're there for a darn good reason. So, and the ignorance that propagates about that stuff, it really bothers me. I just I have no respect for it because all those animals have such an important place. So, muzzle was my question on Facebook. Thank you, Royal Creations. Royal Creations has been around a lot. You're sticking out like a sore thumb with your cool questions. And don't I see you on Instagram and stuff? So, smokers cough, same. I don't smoke. I've never smoked. And I mean, I don't even smoke. I don't smoke pot. I don't smoke. I've never smoked. So I'm not coughing from smoking at all. And my lungs are, it's obscene. The lungs that I've always had, it's weird. Like I just can't, I don't get out of breath. So even with all the damage that I've done, it's still, excuse me, my lungs are amazing. It's an incredible gift that I have. So entered correctly says, in 1993, I hit a baby Bigfoot with my Chevy Lumina in Middleton, Ontario. I pushed him into a culvert and drove away. I'm still ashamed today. What? You hit a baby Sasquatch? Okay, let's talk about this. First of all, I mean, my goodness, do you have any evidence of any kind? You hit a baby Sasquatch. Can you imagine? Let's talk about this for a minute. So, first of all, sir, what do you have to be ashamed of? You know what you should be ashamed of? You should be ashamed of our society not recognizing this species. You should be ashamed that when you did that, your culture doesn't recognize this indigenous incredible primate species, and you are not trained and have no knowledge what to do. I can't imagine how shocked a person would be running into a Sasquatch or a young one. What were you supposed to do? I don't blame you. You didn't do anything wrong. If this really happened to you, if you're telling me the truth, what did you do wrong? Did you swerve to hit it? I doubt it. You know, there's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm ashamed that wildlife officers aren't educating people about this stuff. I'm ashamed that primatologists, I already went through this today, primatologists don't do anything. You know, Survivor Man and Jeff Meldrum were out there and fighting for this, and nobody's doing anything about it. That's what I'm ashamed of. I'm ashamed that as a wilderness expert, there's nothing I can do to educate anybody other than these shows and the movies that I make to help educate people like you, sir, who should be ashamed of nothing. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm sure that you feel horrible that you pushed him into the culvert, but even let's talk about that. So you push it. What do you think happened to the body? Somebody must have discovered it. More cover-ups. If you truly ran into a baby Bigfoot, threw it into a culvert, you think somebody would have found it, and somebody must have found it. It's not still sitting there since 1993. So who found the body and what happened to it? Somebody found it. And where is it? Is it in the newspapers? Nope. So, you know, I'm sure you don't have any evidence. Do you have a picture of the dent on your vehicle? Were you able to get a blood or hair sample? You know, it's terrible that happened, but you have nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. I see no reason. There's nothing that I have anything derogatory to say to you, Mr. Entered Correctly. Nothing derogatory. So back in 1993, where the hell was I even? I was probably, I think I graduated from high school at that age. But yeah, that's terrible. And if you'd like to tell us about it, I'd love to hear it. How it happened, time of day, what the Sasquatch looked like, how heavy it was, the height of it. We would love to hear more about that. Please email us at bigfootencounter@gmail.com, and Amanda will talk to you. Or you can go, are we doing the chat room tonight, guys? So if the chat room's going on, go to the chat room. You need to talk about this stuff. You have nothing to be ashamed of. We would love to hear from you. We would love to talk more about it. And I guarantee you, Amanda and Phil that run that website, they're going to say the same things I just said. What? You have nothing to be ashamed of. I can actually see how that would be horribly traumatic, not knowing Sasquatch exists, and then you run into one, and to see its hands and its facial features and how human it is, how traumatic that would be, how afraid you would be. My God, what have I done? Even now you discovered Sasquatch. But, and I know there are heroes out there, I would do this, I would call CTV. No, man. No. You know what? That's not his job. It's my job. I'm a Sasquatch researcher. It's scientists' jobs. It's not your job, sir. Whatever you do for a living, however you have success in your own abundance and make your way in society, that's what you do. Sasquatch is not your job, and you did absolutely nothing wrong. So if this truly happened to you, then we would love to hear more about it. We'd love to talk to you about it, but you will get no grief from any of my people at all. I mean, I can't even imagine how. Even think of Harry and the Hendersons. That's a pretty profound thing, right? When they run into a Sasquatch, and the shock of it all. These people that get this superhero, amazing, perfect world, the world is not like that. Especially in these situations where an encounter with a Sasquatch, or if you hit one like that, if you hit a young one, how traumatic would that be? Especially you bash it. I can imagine bashing it with your vehicle and you actually cause death. Oh my God. In that moment, you're not only realizing Sasquatch are real, but you've done serious harm to one. And then you realize how man-like it is. These beings are so man-like. They are the same species as us. If they're interbreeding with us, which the DNA shows they're interbreeding with us, that means by definition, if you can interbreed with us and produce viable offspring, they're the same species. Why were you shocked? Well, you basically just hit a human. You basically hit one of your own species, and it's a young one. Were you going to be traumatized? Yeah. I know Sasquatch exists, and I'd be traumatized. So you tossed it in the culvert. You're probably scared, terrified. Even people that, you got to understand, people that see a Sasquatch. I take people out, and they come out to see a Sasquatch with me, and then they see one, and they don't believe it. I think I just saw a Sasquatch. No, you did. I saw it. Oh, and they'll be out with me for days and not believe it. They'll go home for a week and call me and go, I really saw a Sasquatch. So my point is people that are prepared and expect it, it happens to them, and they still take a week to process it. This is just the reality, and everybody does this. Everybody does this. So we're not, 90% of people I take out that see a Sasquatch, they deny it. They can't get it through their head. They go home and think about it and call me back. So you, sir, reacting like that, tossing it into a culvert and being that way, nothing wrong with that at all. You are just, this is not on you. You have nothing to be ashamed of. And if you're traumatized, which I would expect if this really happened to you, it would be very traumatizing. I would love to help you and talk to you and have a discussion with you, because you shouldn't be traumatized. Or of course you're traumatized, but I'll have insights for you that'll help you understand. Like the great John Benernagel would say, every person that sees a Sasquatch discovers it for himself. You ran into a Sasquatch and discovered it. And horrible things are going to happen like that because scientists and governments and biologists and our society as a whole is entirely horrifically irresponsible in allowing this discovery to transpire. Horrifically irresponsible. So that's where I'll point the blame at. And we all here are about doing the best we can to create the discovery of Bigfoot happening. The name of my movie, Discovering Bigfoot. So Jonathan asks, what happens when the discovery is done? I don't know. Miracles and magic. What happens, Jonathan, after the discovery is done is we're going to realize how profoundly easy it was for them to evade us. We're going to realize how easy this happened, and we're going to realize our own failings. And then most importantly, in our survival is the best way for us to survive is in wilderness. In wilderness is the preservation of the world, and there's no better teacher of wilderness than Sasquatch. And I believe that they will inspire the wildness and the wonder and the connectivity back to nature in such brilliant, amazing ways. They're going to inspire a new level of spiritual connection to the natural world. And that is so exciting for me. I'm almost there already. You know what? That's not almost. I am there already. I feel like I need to get closer to nature and closer to my own spiritual connection and to myself inside, to see my own nature and recognize its connectivity to the earth, to the sun, to the soil, to the water, all these things. The simplest but most important, we don't survive without the sun. Who appreciates the sun? Whoever says wonderful things about the sun, whoever recognizes the greatness of the sun. This right here, this energy, that's from the sun. My mouth moving, that's sun energy. I am stardust harvesting starlight. And people forget that. They don't think it means anything. You think you're not connected to that big, beautiful ball of light in the air. You're alive because of that. You move because of that. Your love and your passion is of that energy of that star. And nobody seems to talk about that or mention it. So I've raised my son, and I will raise my daughter to be. I'm a sun worshiper. I worship the energy of the sun and how we harvest it, and the chloroplasts, and how that nature absorbs that energy and creates calories from it that we can ingest to survive. I love that, and nobody teaches that. Nobody talks about it, and it's an enormous part of my life. And going back to your foundations and your grassroots of where you come from and what is necessary for your survival, it's imperative. Your foundation is corrupt if you don't feel and understand that and love and appreciate and show gratitude for that. Love the sun. So, and the earth and the plants and the animals. It's beautiful. Like, don't just shove that food in your mouth. Show some respect for it. That's life. That's life force energy. And we don't even give a crap where it comes from. How dare you? Who made that food? Where does it come from? How irresponsible is that? What if a beautiful being was tortured to give you that sustenance? You don't think that's poison? So many things, guys, that's what this discovery will do. It'll bring us back to those foundations, and it'll teach us so much. It's world changing. And I know the Sasquatch do this. I know that they teach this. I know they love and are connected to these things. So, yeah. Hello, Cindy. And Vito, he went missing for a few weeks after that video with no sound. Are we talking about me? I meant missing. I didn't go missing for a few weeks. I went missing for a while, though. John says, Todd or Amanda, has there been a Sasquatch or beach near any oceans? Has there been a Sasquatch on beach? Oh, absolutely. Perfect footprinting the sand for casting? No. I don't think sand. You know, the perfect casting is that clay that's mixed in with the sand, and it's got to be, but I mean, it's got to be the right consistency. It's got to be dry, not too wet. Perfect casting is, but yes, where I go, John, my favorite place. I mean, that's why I was talking about on the expedition I went on last week. I took the expeditioner down to the creek. Why was I down by the creek? Because around the creek beds is that clay and that sediment that you can get incredible tracks. And it's so easy to, when you're in the backcountry, I go, the creek over there, maybe no man has ever been there. And there's a good likelihood, and if there has ever been a person there, there's been nobody there for decades. So what an easy place to get a nice track for Sasquatch, which is something I'm always very interested in doing. So, yeah, but they have been seen along Vancouver Island, along the coast, foraging for mussels and clams and all that stuff. So, but remember, if we got the most perfect, incredible track with dermal ridges, and it wouldn't even be a news story, would it? It'd be a story amongst the Bigfoot community, if you want to call it that. So, am I even a part of the Bigfoot community? I don't know. So I just kind of do my own thing. So, Crypto Garner, yes, for current prices for expedition, please click the following. Yeah, there's so expeditions are only Canadians this year, guys, because of COVID. It breaks my heart to say that, and it's done so much damage. But I've been going to the U.S., right, to make up for that, and I will continue to do so. So that might be the next. So I'm still doing expeditions, but possibly not so much to Canada, or a little less time in Canada. But I'm just taking it month by month. September's done pretty good, and so I'm looking at doing some stuff in October. And then remember too, guys, now I've been to Alabama. I'm going to do some recon and get some really good work done in Florida, and then maybe Texas. And I have Nia Bay in Washington State. I have New York, the Adirondacks. Let's talk about that. So now I've got Florida that I'm going to go recon for. I've got Alabama. I'm going back to Alabama. Done. I'm in. I'm doing Alabama. I think February. I'll actually do a real expedition. So, but I'm not. It'll be tight. I'll only probably take a couple people, because I had some good success with some impressive stuff in Alabama. And then I got the Adirondacks. So what I did, I got so Alabama, the Adirondacks of New York, Nia Bay. So I have 3 spots in the United States already. Really, really good spots. So if I did February, Alabama, March, probably Nia Bay I could do in the March, but I might do Nia Bay in November. There's so much going on, guys. I don't know. But I'd like to have 5 spots in the U.S. that I go to. I think I'm going to throw Texas in there possibly. It has to be southern United States, because my thinking is when there's snow and it's winter, it's a good time to do Sasquatch researcher in the southern United States. So I got a guy in Tennessee, maybe, but Tennessee's not very far from Alabama. So just got to take it step by step. Lots of work to do. I'm telling you guys, this is important information, because if you're from these places and you're interested, send me an email and say, hey, I want to do this. I'm looking to go there. And the reason I went to Alabama is I was called to go there. People just kept harassing me and had good information. And then somebody worked really hard. Not even Michelle Jones. She busted her ass so I could come out there. So, and then I had Justin, and then a former expeditioner that really inspired me to go out there. And I had great success based on their hard work and determination. So, you know who you are. And then I had Dixie Cryptid, Cameron, come out, right? So he's from the state over, Missouri? Sorry if I'm not getting it right. But anyways, Dixie Cryptid. Now I love Dixie Cryptid. That guy was, it's funny because I've never seen him before. And he's sitting at a picnic table. I don't remember where I was coming from. But anyways, I was coming from a different direction. He's like, Todd, hey! He gives me a hug. I'm like, who are you? And then it's Dixie Cryptid, so I'd never seen him before. I was like, oh, hey! It was cool because, we did shows together. We've talked a lot. And then he's so cool. I like Dixie Cryptid a lot. Cameron is a freaking kick-ass dude. I really liked him. See, Cameron, he's a very talented man. Very, very intelligent. That's why it's such a good show. If you don't watch Dixie Cryptid, it's a good show. I highly recommend it. I did an episode with him. But he's out there, and he's this very... Those southern people, don't be fooled by the accent. Some of them are very, very... They can be intelligent and less witted, just like anywhere else. People are smart and have upper IQs, lower IQs, whatever. Don't be fooled by the accent, because Cameron is one of those guys who has an accent, and he's talking like, hey, y'all, how you doing? Brilliant, genius man. Andy Thompson from Alabama. Genius. Quiet, doesn't say much. Absolute genius. And when he says something, pay attention. And Cameron was doing that. He was saying, Todd, oh man, this, oh that. Like he was trying to record audio, and we had children running around and playing, and he couldn't get it. But he realized that there's more to my story than you can see, and that comes out here. And when you're out in the bush with me, you see that, you feel it. It's very organic. It's very real, and he had that genius to do that. So I'm going to do lots more work with him. And so Dixie Cryptid was a good reason why I went to Alabama. And then the Sasquatch Chronicles is one of the reasons I'm going to Florida State. Incredible chronicles. Sasquatch Chronicles, and then another person who's working hard to get me to come out there. It's one person, and they go kick ass. They go work for it and make it happen. And so YouTube unsubscribes people, removes notifications, changes the viewing numbers and subscriber counts on Sasquatch channels. I've had hundreds of people say they were unsubscribed from my channel. Yeah, Google and YouTube, oof, there's some stuff going on there, right? I remember even there was some really profound stuff. I had a guy who does search engine optimization and understands the spiders and how they track all those things. And he showed me how, man, he's like, Todd, you are getting hidden. People are hiding you. You're being, and so Sasquatch Omega, you're seeing it in that scale. And thank you for noticing that. And on the scale that I've been at, like I remember I've been on BBC, CNN, I was international headlines. Even especially on that scale, when you're talking about millions and millions of viewers, and you see me disappear and get buried and tossed off to the side, there's stuff happening. Absolutely, yes. I mean, the SEO guy that contacted me and said, dude, they're hiding you. They're burying your stuff. And I don't like being part of that. I don't like talking about that stuff. I'm like, no, come on. It's like, he goes, no, you need to see what I need to show you, because this is bad. There are people out there that don't want your message getting out there. And YouTube and Google and all these different things, Yahoo, they're hiding you. They're burying your stuff. So, and I listened to it for a couple days, and I had to, when you present me with evidence and facts that can't be denied, I was going to do a little segment on it. But you know what, Omega Sasquatch, what are we going to do? Are we going to quit? Are we going to stop? No, we're going to keep moving forward. And this is just part of anybody who's done anything great in the history of. Einstein was a patent clerk, and scientists mocked him and chastised him and did everything they could to bury him, because this patent clerk's not going to tell me I'm a PhD professor and my science is yada, yada, yada. And Einstein was right. He just persevered and he worked through it. It's a cliche. It happens all the freaking time. Push through it. Nobody's gonna hold you back but yourself. Go fight for it. Make it happen. Sasquatch Omega, and respect, sir, and keep moving forward. So that's what I have to say about that. Just a couple more questions, guys. This is a 90-minute show today. We're just having a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm not even getting through half the questions. I'm going to go way down low here. Orcas play seal tennis, so yeah, wouldn't swim with them. But they don't harm people, Amanda, and you got to know that logic. A wolf will tear apart an animal. A wolf kills, and they'll rip apart a baby and they'll kill and they want the flesh. So orcas have highly specialized sensory perceptions with their sonar. They know it's a seal. They know I'm a human. I am firmly convinced those orcas came over because they saw me panicking and were curious about what was wrong. I was just scared of them. But it's that the point is, Amanda, we have to overcome those paradigms. You have to know what you know. Orcas have never harmed people in recorded history, ever. There's a good reason for that. They go around people all the time. Kayakers. If you were around, you have the English Channel here in Vancouver and on Vancouver Island. We have the Georgia Strait. We get orcas there all the time. No one has ever been harmed, ever. Never happened. And there's hundreds of thousands of other places all over the world where people have never been harmed by orcas. You have to know what you know, and can't live in fear about preposterous, ridiculous things that are going through your mind. You have to be brave and know your logic, know your truth, and go with that. The truth is, people aren't harmed by Sasquatch or by orcas. So I got to tell you, Todd, it took me until recently, from the time I was a kid and was chased by a Sasquatch with my cousin, to realize that he was just curious and he was young. Awesome, Arthur. Isn't it? It's so nice, that illumination. The truth, right? Good for you, sir. Joe Stevens, if a Sasquatch lets you see it after years of close calls, noises, tree breaks over trails, but no visuals till then, is it a warning? No. No, Joe. He's just, it takes years, 8 years before they get success with gorillas, and they know all about gorillas. So You're dealing with a species that's just very patient. If a Sasquatch lets you see it after years of close calls, noises, tree breaks, over trails, but no visuals till then, it's just, you just built a relationship. Congratulations. It's gone next level. That's how it starts. It starts with the subtle stuff. And as he learns, literally, he's tested your mettle. You're dealing with the most evasive, conservative species of hominid that has probably ever existed. He's been watching you for years. He's been testing you for years. He knows you inside and out. He's spent, what, hundreds of hours possibly watching you, studying you, following you around, watching how you react to everything. Even not Sasquatch related. A bear comes around, how did you react? You know, did you swear at it? Did you shoot it? Did you put 16 holes in it? No. And I'm going to tell you something just based on deductive reasoning. There's something special about you, Joe. And I'm going to bet dollars to pesos on it. And I'm going to be right 95% of the time. There's something very special about you, that the Sasquatch have learned to trust you and respect you. Your intent is wonderful. You probably love nature. You're good and caring. You walk gently. You're respectful of your surroundings. You're happy, go lucky. You got goodness in you. That's why he showed himself to you. Congratulations. So it's not a warning. So I guess there would be cases. Maybe I should hear more information, because there were instances where people called me Sasquatch were like smashing sticks around them. And they pick up rocks and they bash rocks around them and throw debris at them. And it was hurtful. That's a warning. When you get a big, giant, 900-pound, 9-foot plus tall primate species that's just built on toughness and brutality, like they are born and baptized in the fire. They fight and wrestle amongst themselves. When they want to intimidate you, believe me, you're not going to be on the fence. You're going to be like, whoa! Blah! Trust me. I've had Sasquatch on multiple occasions tell me they don't like me and they don't want me around. And believe me, I get it. And I don't go back. Not going back to California. Filmed a Sasquatch out there. Never going back there. That Sasquatch will kill me the next time. And he's going to remember me for decades. I don't go back there. Same thing. There was a group of Sasquatch in Harrison Hot Springs, the very famous spot with John Green. Went out there, saw what that Sasquatch was doing. I didn't even have an interaction with him. He killed a horse and tore a fence apart, and smashed a trailer. I don't want anything to do with that Sasquatch. I saw a trailer that was busted in with fists. Dead horse, busted, you killed a horse? And I asked the guy, what was your horse like? Well, he goes, I loved my horse and I had a nice horse. Well, if a Sasquatch brutally murders your horse, do you want me to do some research around him? No, thank you. Peace out. What do you recommend, Todd? Move! Does that trailer have wheels? Get it out of here. Giddy up. I wish you could sell you could sell the property. The next people are going to have that same problem, but that's not really, it sucks to be able, that's very deceitful to do that, but what are you going to do? Nobody recognizes that the species exists, So Vito says the Adirondacks also venture through the Galatea Hills of Quebec. Isn't that cool? The connectivity, it's ridiculous. If you look at, when I was in Alabama, there was a trail. Oh gosh, it starts with a P. The Pachote Trail. Anyways, I'm on this trail and I'm in Alabama. It's in the Talladega Wilderness, just outside of Birmingham. And they go, this goes all the way up into Maine. I go, Maine? That's the other side of the country. I go, yeah, this trail goes all the way up to the other side of the country. And you know what the truth is? It would go right past Maine, all the way up through Canada, up through the freaking, a Sasquatch could go, you gotta understand, guys. I could literally, as a human being, put on a ghillie suit and go all the way from Alabama up through Maine, all the way through Canada. I could meander through all the provinces. I could loop through Ontario and Manitoba and Saskatchewan. I could just do little dances and fly around and nobody would ever see me. All the way back through British Columbia and all the way back through California, down through Oregon, over all the way down to New Mexico. Don't think that there's no place for them to hide. That is a preposterously ridiculous statement. I was in the Talladega Forest. I went to the high point and I just saw an ocean of trees as far as I could see. That's where the Sasquatch live. And as far as the eye can see. Little hills and some decent size mini mountains, I would call them. I live in the Rockies. But where could they be? There? Everywhere? All over the place? from Alabama to Maine, all the way down through this. You could go up and down all over the place. If people that think, where could they be? Where could they be hiding? What the hell are you talking about? I can't think of a. I've been to Texas. They have oceans of forest there too. Go to California. Where could they hide in California? Have you been to California? There's oceans of trees. It's crazy. All Northern California, hundreds of millions of acres. It's got to be. Like I was driving around. There's forest everywhere. And then you go north into Oregon. Holy crap. Yeah, there's, Oregon and then Idaho and Montana. People, I don't know. I've been to Europe and I know things are different there. There's not land really. And, it's not like that in North America. There's a horrific amount of space. I was in New York State, the mighty New York City. One of the greatest cities in the whole world is in New York State. And I tell you, I drove for 4 or 5 hours and saw nothing but wilderness. Outside of the city of New York, going north, there was oceans of wilderness. So the Adirondacks are freaking enormous. And it goes all the way on through state after state, all the way up through Chicago and into Canada. There's a horrific amount of space for them to survive within. It's ridiculously ignorant and preposterous for somebody. Get your ass out of the cement, people, and go camp. Go have a look. Whatever state you're in, there's 50 states, and most of them are in the continental United States. Just go have a look. If you go up to Alaska, forget about it. And if you think they're in Hawaii, I don't think so. So anyways, Phil says, Sasquatch Omegna, YouTube constantly suppresses anything they don't like. That's why so many are moving their videos to other platforms. Yeah, and I'm stuck on YouTube for now. So awesome show, you guys. Fantastic. Look at all the questions I couldn't even come close to getting to. So wonderful having this show with you guys. The odds of me being here next week are very high. I'm trying to keep my expedition a little quiet. Don't want people knowing when I'm going out. So, but there'll always be something on Wednesday if I can. I got screwed up, and I tell you guys, I don't know what happened. Fact, I put a video on my phone. I record a video. It's just an LG G6 in Canada. Anywhere, I record a video on my phone, uploads to YouTube, no problem. When I went to New York, it took 2 tries. I went to Alabama. I did like 4 tries. Thanks to Phil and Amanda telling me the videos were not uploading properly. The sound wasn't there, and there's no reason for that. I came back to Canada. As soon as I was in Canada at the Calgary airport, I hit Wi-Fi. Boom, boom, boom. Video uploaded. No problem. So I don't know why YouTube doesn't allow me to upload in the United States. And remember, Canada is Canada. We're the north. Like, there's no reason. I was in Birmingham, Alabama, in the town of Birmingham. Why the hell wouldn't a video upload? So there's no reason for that. But I'm telling you this, guys, because I really work hard, and your viewership really, really matters to me. I love my viewers. I think so highly of you guys. You guys are brilliant. These questions are awesome. The show's amazing. Tune in next week. Have some awesome, amazing questions. If you're on Facebook, you can ask me questions preemptively. I always post a little thing there to ask me questions, and I go through those as best I can. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Phil. Did we have the show here? I should have a look at that down near the bottom. Looking for Amanda and Phil. If just look through the comments, guys, and see if I didn't get through very much. I'm Todd's webmaster. Todd is correct about the Google search. Yes. Please be aware that children precipitate in this live show. Please keep the chat clean. Always keep the chat clean. Amanda will make sure of that. So thank you very much, because I want children to watch this show. Children are huge in my life. Oh, there it is. Chat room is open. So that's what I was looking for. Chat room is open. And guys, if you click on the link, click right on the link, you can go right straight to the chat room. It's about, if you're looking through the comments, just look for Phil, Sci Guy. He's got a picture of Harry and the Hendersons, and his little thing is lit blue. Just go to that. Please click on the chat room, especially that gentleman who potentially hit a Sasquatch. You got to send us an email, sir. You need to talk. And you know what? The people that go in the chat room, look at all these brilliant questions. You don't even forget about Todd Standing. Just go through these questions. Half of these people are on this show so often. They're such devoted followers. They've learned so much from me, and I've learned so much from them as a cooperation. And that's what we are in this show. You guys ask brilliant, genius questions, and I'm so happy to help you the way people help me. So I wouldn't be here without help, so why wouldn't I offer it back? I feel like it's a give and take kind of thing. And peace, guys. I'm so grateful for the show. So go to that chat room, and be back next week. There'll be more videos coming this week. I'm so sorry. I've had trouble getting my videos up, but I'm back and in quarantine, so I have time. I'll get some